What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about ZEC USD Zcash. It is the 21st day of November, and here we are at about $634 right now, consolidating still. And what's nice is that Bitcoin is dumping so much. I have to admit, and I'm getting sidetracked here, but let me just say this. I have to say this. I think I've said it before. I want to say it again. Zcash gives me hope that we are still in a bull market. If there was any, I mean, there's a plethora of significant details that illustrate we are still in a bull market. But Zcash is a big one, I think, right? If we were in a bear market, typically your shining stars they dump, right? They're dead. This one's alive and well. Your shining star is dumping, your Bitcoin is dropping through the floor, and yet you, Zcash, are still up here. You've got every reason to sell off. If anybody's saying, yeah, but we just haven't sold off yet, dude, you are up since August. You're up 18x, almost 19x, since October 10th, when all this crazy effery happened. You're still up 4x. If you wanted to drop, you would do it. People have profits to take, they would do it. This video might age like sour milk. A week goes by and we're down here. Who knows? And I do think that we will return to prices that are below $300, probably at least below $400 at some point. But I do think we have higher to go. And again, Zcash not faltering here. And while it's been like a darling of the markets so far, since August, it gives me hope that we very well still are in a bull market. This is not the one thing that I'm standing on. This is not the one reason alone why I believe that we're in a bull market, but it is something to point out, right? If we're in a bear market, why isn't Zcash dumping? Oh, it's just not dumping yet. Dude, you pumped 20x, 30x, you're up like 50x from your lows in July. Why you could dump at any moment. Why haven't you done it over the past half a month now? You know, you got the double top and everything, but it's not a double top. You're not dumping because I think you have higher to go. And I really do believe we have higher to go. If we're looking at this on Coinbase, the expectation here is that Zcash will go somewhere around this top trend line here, or this top extension, the 3113. Right? You're at the base of this zone. Typically, whenever you hit the zone, you get in it and you get out. The fact that we're consolidating here tells me that we're going to go further. I don't think that we push all the way up to 1600. We could. We really could. But in the face of death here in the markets, it's hard to be bullish. I suppose if Bitcoin did see some type of rapid recovery, if in like a week, if by the end of this month we were all the way back at like 107K, if something like that happened, maybe then Zcash does rip to $1,600 or $1,700. That could happen. It is something that we're more open to accepting, but again, for a long time now, we've really been projecting this $711 to $925 target. We've been expecting that now really since we were below $200 back here in the very end of September, the very beginning of October. And I've maintained that stance. I haven't changed it once, okay? Haven't changed it once. The only thing that we've changed is that, okay, we're in this range now, but we're still probably going to go a little bit higher. We could go up to 1600. We could, and there's sense to be made out of that, but I'm sticking with this sub $930 price call. Something above 877, yet below 930. If we're looking at this on a 1 hour time frame, zooming in here, volume is picking up a little bit as you're dropping, to be fair. To be completely fair. If we're looking at this from a low here, come on, give me the low. There we go, low to a high. Bounced right off the golden ratio zone. Now, typically, if you are working your way lower, if you're finding support at the golden ratio but working your way lower, you will find resistance at the 382.5 area, and then you'll go to your 786. Find resistance here and then continue down, right? So if we do return back to prices at about $606, Zcash, you're at 634 now, 635, 636, keeps increasing. I should just keep talking. You'll keep running up. 636 now, 638, there we go, 639, do I get a 640, 640, 640 here, 640, 639 going once, twice, sold. All right, there we go. So 639, golden ratio. If we break back below this, we likely do go lower. We will likely see prices at around 580 to 562. If we break 562, we likely will go to $500 or lower, okay? But if we can get above 645, that really validates the idea that this is the low and that we are moving higher. When you do close and this is just on the 1 hour time frame, it doesn't take much, $671.50. When we close a 1 hour time frame above here, that validates this as a low. It also validates that we're going higher, okay? And I like our odds right now. It looks like we want to go higher. Bouncing right off the oversold zone. Your Bitcoin looks like this today, and you're bouncing off your oversold zone on the 1 hour. You got bullish divergence on the stochastics. You've got bullish divergence on the MACD. 4 hour time frame. The MACD is kind of useless here because you've been moving sideways, but overall it is bullish. Stochastics bouncing off the oversold area, an area that you have bounced from several times before. And the RSI, while neutral, is overall very bullish. I'm not bearish here. By any degree, I am not bearish here. We look at this consolidation phase for what it is, and it's a triangle. It's an ascending triangle, right? Volume has died off. Typically, you get low levels of volume right before you're about to break out, one way or the other. We can break out to the downside. If this is an ascending triangle, and I think it is, right? If it walks like a duck, it squawks like a duck, it's probably a duck. Let's actually move this down here, okay? I'm going to take it to the closing prices, the closing highs, right here, just because then I think that's a little bit better formed. We're wicking to the upside, and then here, you know, we take the closing low maybe. We could take the closing lows, in which case we're breaking out maybe to the downside. I don't know, something like this, and then we'll make this solid so that it's easier to. Oops, I thought I was making it solid, but I guess not. Making it, oh, right here, solid. There we go. So it's a little bit easier to see. It's a ascending triangle. If this is an ascending triangle, from the low of the pattern to the high of the pattern, you put this at the measurement here, that would take us all the way up to, man, that would take us up to $1,100. Wow. This formation might actually build a case out for why we go to $1,600 and why I might not be bullish enough for Zcash. Wouldn't that be wild? That's another thought here that I'm having right now is that, man, if Zcash isn't dumping with the rest of the markets even in the midst of this, maybe it does have higher to go than just 930. Maybe it does go higher. I'm sticking with the call. I'm not changing it yet, but I want you guys to be understanding that over the past 3 days specifically, I've become a lot more receptive here than I have been really throughout this whole time that we could go above $1,000 on this run. I've become a lot more receptive to that thought, okay? Just because it seems so obvious that we would find resistance at that, not last cycle's high, but the prior cycle high before that. If we take a low here, or a high here from the last bull market to the low here of our bear market, okay? High to low, the 1272 is all the way up here at 877, which directly ties in with this high here. Regardless of how high we go, we at least go here. But if we do go higher, if we make it to 1,000, I highly doubt that we stop here. It's improbable that you would stop somewhere between the 1414 and the 1272. You either stop right here with maybe a little wick included, whatever, you can wick a little bit above it, but you either stop right here basically, or you will continue all the way up to your 1414. And typically with the 1414, you do go a little bit above it, which would, you know, $1,400, we could go to 1,600. That's right above it, or somewhere there in between. And 1,600 again, from this high to this low, our last significant pivot before we took off, the 3618 is all the way up there, right up in this area, which would make sense to find resistance. But so does the 3113 right here at the 1272, right here at this prior high. It's really hard to say. I'm sticking with the call that we find resistance here. I'm sticking with the call that we find resistance somewhere between $930 and $877, but I'm more receptive to the idea that we go higher. And just be understanding that if we do break 1,000, we're likely not stopping until we go to $1,600 or at least $1,400, at least there, okay? A lot of potential here with Zcash. And Bitcoin's recovering right now. The rest of the market's recovering. I would say that if Bitcoin makes a speedy recovery, that will only up your chances. And we can make a speedy recovery from here. We could move up to 93K. That's not what I'm talking about. If we're above like 108K by the end of this month, that's a speedy recovery. If we do something like that by the end of the month, then Zcash likely will move up to $1,400 or more. But until then, I'm just anticipating 930 to 877. That's what we've called for. That's what the call is. If we look at this pattern for what it is, you've definitely reached maturity. You're definitely ready to break out one way or the other. Hopefully it's to the upside. I think it will be to the upside. I don't think I have anything else that I want to say. I've said it all. So if you like it, hit the like button. If you hate it, leave me a comment. If you want to see more of it, subscribe. If you're wondering, yeah, but C-Zar, there's bearish divergence. Yes, we've gone over that. There is bearish divergence. There's bearish divergence on your daily RSI, on your stochastics, and on your MACD. And guess what? You already made the move down. The divergence was from this point to that point. You already made the move down. This move right here, 26% down, that was your divergence move. We're reset. We're ready to go. If anything, we're ready to go. You rejected the overbought zone, and that's all you got. You're still consolidating higher lows. That's all you got. I'm not thinking about anything else other than higher prices from here. And we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Technically, the measure move of this would take us above $1,000. So either we're going to get a busted pattern because we're just going to move up a little bit and then come back down, or maybe my theory about stopping at 930 or lower has been wrong, and we do push all the way up to 1400 or more. But I'll see you guys on the next one. I've got nothing else to say. I'm just rambling at this point. So hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.